want to welcome all students to this series in the NASW Texas Student Leadership Institute entitled Be the Leader Others Want to Follow. I'm excited to spend some time with you to share my thoughts on this topic. Please note that there will be a brief quiz at the end of this session to assess your learning. Let's get started. The purpose of this presentation is to explore the intersection of good character, professionalism, and social media in leadership. We'll take a look at what it means to have good character, how that connects with the social work profession, as well as tips on how to use writing, appearance, and social media to get and keep the leadership position you want. Let me first tell you about myself. If anyone had told me when I was an undergrad that I would be in a leadership position, I would have never believed them. Although I grew up with a passion for social justice and change, I was quiet and shy. I also have a serious case of what we call imposter syndrome. That's that little bug in your ear that constantly tells you that somehow you are not deserving of the status or positions that you have. What I have learned after all these years is that leadership is born out of having courage. It takes courage to send in that application for a position you want. It takes courage to run for an office. It takes courage to say yes to a leadership position that is offered to you. I found that courage only years ago. My name is Nicole Willis, and I'm currently Associate Professor of Social Work at Texas Southern University. I started there in 2011, and I began getting involved in serving on a variety of departmental, university, and state committees. One of my favorite leadership experiences has been in NASW Texas. I have served on the NASW Texas State Conference Planning Committee for the last few years, and now I'm currently serving as chair of the 2017 and 2018 state conferences. This is a picture of me here in 2016 accepting my nomination as the conference chair for 2017 and 2018. This is a picture of that shy girl from Minnesota who took a deep breath and found the courage to say yes to playing a major leadership role in NASW Texas. I'm hoping that you can see yourself at this podium one day, or with a microphone, or sitting around a conference table leading a group of people on a local, state, or national committee. Let's begin our discussion about how to get there. Let's start with character, as that is where being a good role model begins. Character refers to the mental and moral qualities distinctive to an individual. Think about the people you might know, either know personally, professionally, etc., who you would describe as having good character. Take a minute and write the names down of those 3 people. Then think about the qualities that those 3 people possess that show you they have good character. Write 5 characteristics down that these people possess to demonstrate their good character. And lastly, think about where good character comes from. Is it genetic, determined at birth? Is it shaped by the environment? Can it be learned? Pause this video here and write down your answers. You don't need to submit your answers to anyone. Once you have thought about and written your answers, press play to continue with the presentation. Let's first start with the nature versus nurture question. What were your thoughts about where good character comes from? For the most part, good character can be learned. It can be achieved with active, regular practice. This is great news and means that all of you participating in the Student Leadership Institute have the capacity for leadership. Which 3 people did you think of? When I meet or observe a leader that has good character, I always try to take what I've learned from them and integrate it into my leadership roles. I would encourage you to do the same. to observe people with good character and integrate something they do into your professional and personal lives. Did the qualities you wrote down connect with these 5 qualities? In my experience, there are so many qualities that comprise good character in terms of leaders' quality and conduct. Being honest, respectful, organized, dependable, and team-oriented, to name a few. I would like to highlight the 5 components here and describe how these components are connected to the NASW Code of Ethics. Good character is ingrained in our NASW Code of Ethics. And remember, students, our code was revised in 2017, and this change includes a lot of changes, so be sure to read it online. It is also important to know that as social workers, we are committed to this Code of Ethics, regardless if we are or are not NASW members. However, I strongly encourage all of you to become active NASW members if you are not already. Let's take a look at the first qualities, honesty and dependability. These components are reflected in one of our values, integrity, as you can see here. Integrity is so important in the 21st century, especially in leadership. There's a saying that goes, integrity is doing the right thing even when the wrong thing is the easy thing. In other words, what do you do when people aren't looking? Those who work hard on demonstrating integrity and being responsible are people, I would argue, who have good character. Being respectful is also a component of good character, and this is also an expectation in our NASW Code of Ethics. As you can see here, Section 2 of the Code relates to the expectation of treating people with respect. This is relevant especially to leadership positions, as you will be working with a variety of individuals or colleagues as a leader. In my experience, I have observed that it is much easier for people to be respectful when things are going smoothly. But what about when challenges arise? When processes or outcomes don't turn out the way they were planned? It is important to be respectful to others you work with, but also work hard to maintain respect in your verbal and written communication when problems arise or when things don't go as planned. As a leader, remember that colleagues who feel you disrespect them or a population you represent who feels you disrespect them won't want to work with you or re-elect you. Maintaining dignity of individuals while being a leader is key to developing and maintaining professional relationships and getting work done. The 4th and 5th components are humility and being team-oriented. Being humble is also an important part of having good character. It is important to see yourself as not the only person in the room, but to see yourself as a small part of something greater. This is also reflected in the NASW Code of Ethics. Are you approachable? Do people see qualities of you they can relate to? Do you inspire others to want to serve? Seeing people and colleagues as partners and building connections with this perspective in mind is key to being an effective leader. Let's face it, you can go through college just completing coursework, getting good grades, all the have-tos. The truth is representing your university or college is not just measured by GPA and having a collegiate bumper sticker on your car. Any role that you have, your appearance, in person or online, etc., are all ways in which you represent your university or college. I encourage you to take a step out of your comfort zone and add a leadership role to your resume while you're a student. I always tell students, don't wait till you graduate to get involved in leadership. Do some research online. Find the organizations or committees on campus, in the community, in professional, state, or national organizations that have leadership positions for students. Technology is a great tool in which you can search for these organizations. These might include leadership positions within social work or outside of social work. For example, there are student positions on the board at the School Social Work Association of America, NASW state and national level, as well as campus organizations such as the Student Government Association at my university, Texas Southern. You might even check into leadership positions you might qualify for in your HOA or in the county that you live in. I teach at a university now, and the older I get, the more I notice how different things were when I was young. When I was a student, we wore shorts that covered our knees, turtlenecks, and fanny packs. If you can believe it, I still wear the fanny pack. Maybe that will come back into fashion, but probably not. I could walk into any clothing store and find professional clothing. I see today that the images presented on media and current fashion make it harder for students to understand what professional dress is. When I was young, we didn't have cell phones or computers. When we wanted to talk to someone, we had to write letters and put them in the mailbox. We would check the mailbox a few days later to get a response from the person we wanted to talk to. I think because we had to write letters and didn't have computers or cell phones, our writing skills were really strong. Today, because of texting, autocorrect, and sources like Wikipedia, students today sometimes have difficulty with writing. Today, students have instant access to information because of technology. You all now can find information online quickly and even get research articles or books online. In my day, we had to use the card catalog and run up through the various floors in the library stacks to find hard copies of the articles. Technology is definitely a strength and a useful tool for students now, but it can also either help or hurt your ability to obtain and maintain leadership positions. Fashion and writing can also either help or hurt the likelihood of being a student leader. Let's talk about those now. I want to share some information and tips that you can use social media so that you can use social media, physical appearance, and writing most effectively to help you get and keep the leadership position that you want. Social media is something I didn't have when I was an undergraduate, but now it is a large part of life for many people. Let's talk about how social media is relevant to being a student leader. It is important to see the overlap between your professional world and your social media world. These systems are not mutually exclusive. Take a look at these facts, which illustrate how employers are using your social media in hiring decisions. As we see here, most people today use social media. What some students don't know is that employers are reviewing applicant social media accounts to evaluate you. According to a few surveys reported by Forbes magazine and Career Builders, approximately 37 to 70% of employers look at your social media and take into account the content in your Facebook, Twitter, etc. in decisions about hiring you. About a third of employers in these surveys reported finding content in the applicant's social media that caused them not to hire the applicant. Think about what you have included in your social media accounts. When you apply for leadership positions, might those organizations be looking at your social media or the population you want to represent? What does the content in your social media tell them about your ability to lead? What kind of photos did you post or retweet? Is your language respectful and maintains people's dignity? Can you write in complete sentences and spell correctly? Remember, what you post is forever online. It will reflect who you are as a person and your potential for leadership. Here are some examples of what not to do should you be seeking or are in a student leadership position. In this tweet, can you find the spelling error? In this tweet, what does it suggest about the person's work ethic and responsibility? Selfies are very popular these days. What does this selfie suggest about professionalism? In addition to your online appearance, think about your physical appearance. Is your hair groomed and clean? Do you wear clothing that is business casual or professional? Tattoos and piercings are popular and trendy, but in a professional environment, visible and or excessive tattoos and piercings may impact how you're evaluated in terms of professionalism in regards to a leadership position. Running for a leadership position often requires submitting a headshot. A headshot is a professional photo of you, usually from the collarbone up. Because of the prevalence of social media, students are often into using these fun screens offered in Facebook, Snapchat, etc. Please keep in mind that submitting a headshot that has a fun screen is not professional. Submitting a headshot that shows undergarments, clothing, or poses that are sexually suggestive are not professional either. Here are some examples of headshots of 3 social workers in leadership. Pictured here is Jillian Bassar, former chair of the NASW Texas Conference, Rosie Ruiz, director of the Aspire to Win agency in Houston, and Dr. Angelo McLean, president of NASW. These headshots are professional. The background is soft and allows their faces to stand out. Their expressions are friendly, confident, and they're smiling. Their hair is neat and they have professional dress on. These are great headshots for some great leaders in social work. Here are some examples of clothing for presenting yourself in a professional way. I encourage you all to start building your wardrobe with clothing like this if you have not already. Wear these clothes often so that you feel comfortable in this type of professional dress. Now let's switch gears and talk about writing. I'd like to give you some tips with writing to help get the leadership position that you really want. When completing an application for a student leadership position, there are some basic tips I'd like to offer. First, be sure to follow the instructions. If the application states to write a 3-page biography, make sure it's 3 pages, no more, no less. If there are certain documents that are required, be sure to submit each document. Second, proofread your writing so that what you submit has good grammar, complete sentences, correct spelling, and a nice flow of ideas. Have someone else proofread as well if needed. Sometimes it's difficult to catch your own mistakes. The last suggestions are overlooked. Be sure to research that specific organization's values, rules, goals, visions, standards, etc., and integrate those into your application or campaign. Here is the reason. Getting a position or nomination is not about how great you are. It's about goodness of fit. In other words, organizations are looking at who is the best fit for the leadership position, not necessarily who has the perfect GPA. Do you do your research on the organization or institution, etc., and make the case in your writing that you are the best fit for this leadership position. You are all on your way to be social workers. As social workers, we're committed to our code of ethics, and one of our most important values is service. I encourage you not to wait till you graduate and get involved in leadership positions now as students. I can tell you that being in leadership positions has been one of the great joys of my professional life. Taking that step of courage to become a leader will help you grow as you work hard at learning how to become a more effective leader. It will help you show your commitment to service, and one day you will be at that podium helping to inspire others to do the same. We are so fortunate at NASW Texas to accompany you in your journey to become leaders. Have courage. Get involved. Don't wait. This concludes the presentation, Be the Leader Others Want to Follow. Please remember to take the brief learning evaluation of this presentation.